Okay, previously, Tick had... Well, we had a flashback, didn't we, of Tick's backstory and how he was possibly brought up by halflings, maybe, or goblins. We don't know. In the Forbidden Lands, it can be either. But what we do know is that his saviours had to run into the woods. They were pursued by dogs, and they were on death's door, and the mysterious Bakari Arjun, the tree, made his presence known and offered to protect the baby Tick in his wooden hollow, his womb he calls it. And then we flash forward to Tick waking up covered in blood, and the howls of the pack in the distance disappearing, and some of them sounding in pain. Tick consulted Bakari, and Bakari warned him that through his visions of the squirrels and things like that in the woods, Bakari could see that the humans had taken the wolf pack, possibly hunters, and that Tick should be wary of humans, that they were quite often bad and hated his kind. Bakari revealed to Tick that he wasn't in fact a bold wolf, but he was actually a goblin, and that humans don't like goblins very often. And Bakari opened his womb, and mysteriously there was a spear and a bow and 4 arrows actually, because Tick broke one for Tick. And Bakari armed Tick, and off Tick went with Grey Cat, his friend and mount wolf, off to rescue the pack. And a fight broke out between Tick, Grey Cat and the hunters that had 3 of the remaining pack in chains. They'd found the skinned bodies of the other pack members, but 3 had been saved and were in chains for some reason. We don't know why they weren't skinned. But actually Tick and Grey Cat made short work of the hunters, which surprised me. A new game to me, but the combat went very well. And that's where we left it, really. Now, previously I used... I had music on in the background, which I realised ruined the editing, because every time I cut some out I didn't like, it changed the music. So I've removed that for this time round, and I have also changed from my VTT over to Tabletop Simulator. What I'd like to do for last time is give Tick an experience point because he partook in the game, and there are a series of questions you've got to answer for Forbidden Lands, and I think that was the only one that I could answer. I didn't use my pride and things like that, so I've given him 1 XP there, which I'll have to learn what I do with those later. I think I can upgrade things. I'm gonna presume that he rescued his 3 arrows just to make things quicker. But what I might do is, I think I'll ask the Oracle to see if there is any arrows from Vike, I think it was, the leader of the hunters. So, and I think things went pretty well last time. So we'll reduce the chaos factor down to 4. So at chaos factor 4, we reduce the number by 1. So I think it's very likely that Vike didn't break any arrows because he didn't actually get the chance to use any against Tick. So I think it's very likely. Normally we draw 3 cards, it says there, but we're going to draw 2. Let's give this a shuffle. 2 cards. Flip the first one. So the question was, did he break... No, the question was, did any of his arrows survive? So the first one's a no, and the second one's a no. So unfortunately, Tick doesn't get any extra cards. Let's put these over here. So Tick's arrows will stay at 3. I think I'll save learning how to get food and things for later. I was considering, well, let's see if the horses bolt. So if you remember last time, and Grey Cat fought the hunters and rescued their fellow packer who are currently in chains, but there were 2 horses there that the hunters tried to escape on. Grey Cat pulled one of the hunters off the horse and disemboweled them, if I remember correctly. But did the horses bolt? Because I think this might be quite important. I think it's very likely. I don't think the horses would sit there. In fact, it has to be, doesn't it? The horses will try to bolt. They're not going to stay there, are they? I think a better question would be, do the horses escape from Tick and Grey Cat? Now, Grey Cat and Tick will be preoccupied with trying to get the chains off the wolves. So I think it's likely they would get away while they're distracted. So if it's likely, Chaos Factor 4, we have to reduce it by 1. So 1 card, flip, yes, they escape. Now, I think that's going to be important. Well, let's ask now, actually, why because I think this is important. Now, I think we established last time that these hunters were from the hollows. Now, do the horses make it all the way back to the hollows? I don't know. So I think this is 50-50. So 50-50 would be normally at Chaos Factor 5 would be 1 any yes, but at unlikely draw 2 and it has to be all yeses. So there's 1, 2. Do they make it all the way back to the hollows? No, they don't. Going with the first no, it's not an exceptional no. Do they make it all the way back to the hollows? Perhaps one of them does then. Let's say one of them does make it back to the hollows, the other one doesn't. Or gets close anyway. So that's that dealt with. So the horses escape, potentially one of them has got back to the hollows. So that leaves us with Tick and Grey Cat. No horses, rescued the wolves. We'll presume that all 4 wolves, so the 3 they rescued and Grey Cat and Tick, return back to the glade, Bakari, Argent. And I think we'll maybe play out that scene when Tick is consulting Bakari Argent. Let's skip ahead a few days. So I think Bakari Argent's very uneasy about all this. The red mist has raised, and it seems hardly any time at all before trouble has come to the woods and the glade, where Tick and the wolves and Bakari Argent will live in a very quiet and peaceful life, avoiding the red mist, but they've got used to that. But now trouble has already come. Tick has had to murder some humans to rescue the pack. Now, one thing that's bugging me is what's happened with the pack. Who's in charge now? Did the leader, the alpha of the pack, die? Was the alpha one of the ones that was killed and skinned? I don't know. So let's go 50-50. So we reduce that down. Let's get my deck up. So we reduce that down by 1 because of the chaos factor being 4. So we're drawing 2 cards. All have to be yes. Has the alpha died? Yes, straight away. Oh, yes, an exceptional yes. So the alpha has died. So that leads to the question, who's in charge? I think it's very unlikely Tick can hold his own against the wolves, but he did rescue them. I think it's unlikely that he's become alpha, so that gets reduced down to very unlikely. So that's 3 cards, all yeses. Has Tick become the leader of the pack? 2, 3. No, so an immediate no there. So Tick isn't the alpha anymore. Maybe it's Grey Cat. I think that's probably more likely. I'm going to go 50-50, I don't know. So that gets reduced down to unlikely. So 2 cards, both need to be yes. Is Grey Cat the alpha? Which is going to be interesting. Yes. No. Grey Cat's not the alpha. So I think we'll leave it there. So we know that Grey Cat and Tick, despite rescuing the pack, they haven't been promoted to alpha. So whoever is alpha, have they accepted Tick as part of the pack? Again, I don't know, but I have been wondering how easily he sits with the pack. He's been with them a while, so I think it's probably likely that they would, but when things change, we don't know. So that gets reduced down to 50-50. Got the chart here. Likely would have been 2 cards and a yes, gets reduced down to 50-50. 1 card needs to be a yes. Have they accepted Tick as part? Yes, they have. The Tick is still part of the pack, and that's cleared that up. It was just bugging me that I wanted to figure that out, what's going on with the pack, since so many have died. I think they lost 4, didn't they? To the hunters. Now the next thing that I want to do is, so Bakari Arjun is very uneasy about this. I think he's keeping this to himself, but I think he'll have the birds, the squirrels, the foxes, the badgers, the life that lends their eyes to Bakari Arjun, keeping an eye out on the forest for trouble. So let's cut to the hollows. One thing I'm interested in is, and I think we established last time, was that somebody had asked the hunters to supply them with 3 wolves. Don't skin them, they want them alive. I think it's time to figure out who that was. And to do that, I'm going to use Une. Now this is the first time I've used it, so let's dig out Une and see how we do this. So Une stands for Universal NPC Emulator, and that's by someone called Zach Best, and I'll provide a link in the video for that. So we're going to figure out, now this is the first time I've used this, and this is going to take me a while. So to determine this, we're going to roll a D100. So let's grab these 2 dice, give them a roll. So that is 54. So 54 is Fickle. And then we roll these again. Take 39. 39 is Master. Fickle Master. Okay, well, let's see what else we get. So we roll them again to see what their motivation is. So we have a Fickle Master. 26. Drive. Then we roll again to see what the noun is. Drive. 48. Drive enlightenment. So they're trying to find enlightenment. Drive enlightenment. So that makes me think it's not them driving enlightenment. They're doing something to try and enlighten others. A drive to enlighten others. fickle master. Drive to enlighten others. Now let's see how important this character is. Presume they're in the hollows. Well, we'll check the oracle for that. 60. 60 would give us inquisitive. So already I'm thinking some kind of intellectual, some kind of academic, possibly a wizard. I'm not too sure yet. Someone that wants to better their community, maybe. They're inquisitive anyway. Let's roll again. Ah. 68 under inquisitive is curiosity. So they're inquisitive and curious. So they drive to enlightenment. They're driving to enlighten something. I'm thinking others. They're curious, inquisitive. There's some kind of cleric or something like that, aren't they? They're interested in a subject, seeking out knowledge. Next, we need to roll for their focus. Why are they doing all this? What on earth are they doing this for? Let's try and figure that. 5. Family. Oh dear. I think. Did it tick? Are they? I did have a look at this chart prior, and that's the only one that stood out for me, which is a coincidence that we've rolled it, that would directly link the Tick's story, family. We've already established we don't know who Tick's family is. This is taking a slightly sinister twist. Okay, I think I've got it. A fickle master. They are in charge. They're in charge of the hollows, but they're fickle. It's a means to an end. They're going through the motions because they've got an ulterior motive, and their drive is to enlighten. They want to learn something, and that might be to enlighten others by this knowledge that they're seeking out. But I think because of their fickle nature, if no one wants to listen, that's fine. This knowledge is going to be useful to them. They're being inquisitive, they're curious, they're getting samples from the surroundings, sending out hunters, bringing back wildlife, nature, clues. But the focus we've discovered is family, and I think I've decided that that's Tick's family. Where is Tick's family? Why were they on the run? And why is this person looking for them still to this day? Really interesting. Tick's 16 now, so it's been 15, 16 years. Why are they still focused on finding Tick's family? Interesting, getting exciting already. All from 3 or 4 rolls of the dice. Love it. Next I'm going to move to the Tome of Adventures, and I'll put a link to that in my YouTube, to what is the plan behind this. Why are they doing this? They want to find the family, but why? They want to find Tick's family. This is just giving me a bit of flavour to where this is all going. I do like it to be random. I mean, this is new to me. Am I going too far? Am I spoiling things? I can only learn from this, so I'm gonna do this and then see how this plays out. I might regret it and think, wow, it would have been nice to discover this randomly, later. But let's give it a go. This is the table. First of all, let's roll. See what we get. 1. Gain favour of another villain. Interesting. The villain wants to impress someone. Might be trying to impress his boss. Trying to gain an ally, or showing someone that he's worthy of employment as a minion. Well, actually, I'm glad I've done that now, because it doesn't. There's someone above them that's even worse than them. They're just a minion. They're an underling, or they want to be a minion. So, yeah, that's good. I'm quite pleased that I've done that. I'm going to use this table to just gather a little bit more information to see what's going on here. This relationship between this NPC and the villain, their master, or hope that their master above them. What's going on there? So again, we need to roll. Good. I don't know if you can hear that. It's not a special effect. That really is an owl outside my window. So that is 15. Bring its minions back to life. Method of gaining approval of other villain. Method of gaining approval of the other villain. Bring its minions back to life. Oh dear. This doesn't sound good. It looks like we need to roll again on this table. So bring minions back to life. Straight 60. Bring minions back to life. Straight 60 is obtaining. So this is relationship of first villain to second villain. Obtaining a specific task or favour from the second villain. In some cases, often when the second villain is a supernatural creature, the second villain might automatically have to perform the favour if the first villain completes the task. So this person has secured themselves as the leader of the Hollows, and they're trying to enlighten themselves on the location of the family, Tick's family, and they're doing this because their ultimate plan is to gain the favour of a master, an unknown master at the moment. And to do that, for some reason we don't know yet, they need Tick's family to bring back the dead minions of this master that they want to please. Whoa. Just from a few rolls, this is going to places I never expected, and I think I need to stop there. That's too much. That's stuff Tick doesn't know yet, but we know that now. So that's something going on. So they sent out these hunters to get these wolves. This is part of some way of trying to track them down. Where Bakari Arjun talks to nature, befriends it in that forest, we can learn their eyes and see what they see, talk to them, learn from them. This person does the opposite. They capture animals. We don't know what they do to them. Torture them, kill them. In fact, it's not as nice as Bakari Arjun. So, reading the Games Master's Guide and looking at the Hollows, I think this person is Mrs. Polymer. She doesn't fit perfectly, but I think, well, this is my game now, so she's not the sweet old lady that people think she is. Even the book says that. But I think there's a sinister side to Mrs. Polymer that I think we might discover later. But she's the leader of the Hollows. She's the one that sent out Vike, the gamekeeper, to bring back some live wolves and possibly other animals for her to do who knows what, but we now know that there is a villain out there, a master that she is hoping to please.